In a state like New Jersey, where there's so many people and people and wildlife interact on a regular basis, managing deer in public open spaces as well as suburban areas is going to be critical in really reducing numbers and decreasing threats not only to farmers, but to the forests and other wildlife.
We want these ecosystems to stay in balance, and we have this problem now where there is just so much deer in so many of our communities. We have these overpopulations of deer, and they do not eat the invasive exotic plants.
The two biggest impacts on the forest are white-tailed deer and invasive plant and insect species. We have white-tailed deer, large populations of white-tailed deer that have pretty much decimated the native plants other than the large trees. They've eaten all of our tree seedlings, all of our saplings, all of our other native flowers, flowering plants.
And because they're just browsing and coming in, they're taking out all those native species, creating this environment where these non-natives can really take a hold and come in, because the ironic thing is that the deer don't like the non-natives. So you would hope that they would take care of those non-natives for us, but they just aren't.
The forest was degraded by deer and invasive plants for so long that we don't have regeneration in the forest. Meaning we don't have the baby trees that are going to take over for the next generation. So we've started some programs where we're planting native trees, removing invasive species, and starting to see more and more recovery of the forest that we can't just see by reducing the deer population. These blue markers out in the forest represent a study that was started in 1949. Long-term studies are really important because they allow us to look at what the impact of these particular aspects like deer and invasive plant species have on our forests. What we've seen has allowed us to look at how the forest has changed with these increasing deer populations, especially in the last 30 years, and the introduction of all of the invasive plant species in the last 30 years.
Smart, science-based deer management options is a really important thing also.
We have a couple of programs. We have a deer bow hunting program where we work with the local community and local hunters who bow hunt throughout the forest and the fields surrounding the forest. And we also have a 12-foot tall deer fence that surrounds all of the old growth forest, so about 65 acres, and part of the young forests that surround the old growth.
These programs can also be combined with venison donation that'll actually benefit those in need in their local communities.
Even with this great deer fence, there's still going to be deer that always get in. So even though we're going to have this protection of the deer fence, we're still going to have some deer protection tubes individually around each one of the trees.
By reducing the deer population as a whole in Somerset County, Franklin Township, we would have less motor vehicle accidents, less damage to our yards and gardens, as well as recovery of forests such as HMF and local forest properties, open space.
For additional information, a code that you can scan with your phone that'll take you directly to the New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station website. And you can always visit your local Rutgers Cooperative Extension County office.